Phillies Drive is closed? The baseball season's just starting. Spring training's only 2 weeks away and it's closed.
Hi guys, today Baseball Ross and I are going to take you back through history. We're going to visit all 3 locations that the Phillies have called home here in Clearwater. The Phillies' first Clearwater home was at the Clearwater Athletic Field, located at 900 North Martin Luther King Avenue in Clearwater. Currently on that site is the North Greenwood Recreation and Aquatic Center. The original Clearwater Athletic Field grandstands were destroyed by fire in April 1956. We are now standing at the first home of the Phillies Spring Training Facilities, Clearwater Athletic Field. It was originally the home to the Brooklyn Dodgers, who started here in 1922. He started playing here in 1947 and played here until 1954. Clearwater Athletic Field baseball stadium was demolished in 1956. Where we're standing now is where right field would have been. Behind the building towards where the sun is, where it would have been where home plate was located, at the corner of Pennsylvania and Seminole. Over on this side would have been left field towards the corner of Pennsylvania and Palmetto. The interesting fact, we're standing here on Martin Luther King Drive. If you turn around, there's the North Greenwood Branch Library, and off in the distance you can see the second home of the Phillies, Jack Russell Stadium. Clearwater Athletic Field. In 1922, the Brooklyn Dodgers agreed to hold their spring training in Clearwater with the provision that the city would create an appropriate venue. The city broke ground on the Clearwater Athletic Field in December of 1922, following the city council's decision to issue $25,000 in bonds to construct the field and a 2,000-seat wooden grandstand. Home plate was located at what was now the intersection of Pennsylvania Avenue and Seminole Street. Left field ran parallel to Palmetto Street, and right field ran parallel to North Martin Luther King Jr. Avenue. Players dressed in a wooden clubhouse off the third base line stayed downtown at the new Fort Harrison Hotel and walked to and from practice. Professional and minor league teams that have made the field their training home included the Brooklyn Dodgers from 1923 to 1932, then 1936 to 1941, the Clearwater Pelicans in 1924, the Newark Bears from 1933 to 1935, the Cleveland Indians in both 1942 and 1946. Clearwater Bombers professional softball was here from 1945 to 1954. The Philadelphia Phillies played here from 1947 to 1954, and the Negro League baseball team, the Clearwater Black Sox, played here in 1952. This athletic field grandstand was destroyed by fire in 1956, but the remaining field was sometimes used for practice and is a parking lot for games at nearby Jack Russell Stadium. This shot is taken from the corner of Pennsylvania Avenue and Seminole. This is where the original home plate for the Clearwater Athletic Field would have been. This is the second home of the Phillies in Clearwater, Jack Russell Memorial Stadium. It is located at 800 Phillies Drive, Clearwater, Florida.
Phillies Drive is closed? The baseball season's just starting. Spring training's only 2 weeks away and it's closed.
Jack Russell Stadium. The stadium that most people know as the first spring training home of the Philadelphia Phillies. In actuality, it was their second home here in Clearwater. They broke ground on it in 1954, and in 1955, they opened the facility on March 10th, moving from... We are at Jack Russell Stadium. This is the second of the Phillies Clearwater homes. This facility is the one that most longtime Philly fans think of when they think of the original home of the Phillies here in Clearwater. This facility opened in 1955, at which time the Phillies moved from their former home, the Clearwater Athletic Fields, which is just over there behind the goalpost. They moved here to Jack Russell Field on March 10, 1955. It cost $317,000 to build the field. When Jack Russell Stadium opened in 1955, it had a capacity of 4,744. In 2003, seating capacity was upgraded to 6,942 people. The Clearwater Bombers, the softball team that won 10 national amateur softball titles, played here from 1950 to 1973. Jack Russell Stadium was named after a Major League Baseball player who played in the major leagues from 1926 to 1940. He was a member of the Cleveland Indians when they played here in Clearwater for spring training. After his playing career, he settled here in Clearwater and became a distributor of Union Oil and a member of the Clearwater Chamber of Commerce. He was a vocal advocate for a new baseball park in Clearwater, and in 1954, City Council approved the building of the park, which would serve as the spring training home of the Phillies in 1955. The Clearwater Mayor, Herbert Brown, surprised Jack Russell when he announced that the stadium would be named in his honor. The dimensions of Jack Russell Field were 340 to left, 400 feet to center, and 340 feet to right field. The stadium was dedicated, and the Phillies played their first game here on March 10, 1955. Robin Roberts was the starting pitcher for the Phillies, and they played the Detroit Tigers. In the end, the Phillies won 4-2 on a two-run double by Willie Jones in front of 4,209 attendees. Clearwater City's officials approached the Philadelphia Phillies as early as 1981 about locating a minor league affiliate at Jack Russell Stadium. In 1984, the Florida State League granted the city of Clearwater a franchise on September 26, 1984, a team that would go on to be called the Clearwater Phillies. The team would be known as the Clearwater Phillies until they moved to their new facility, Bright House Field, now known as Spectrum Field, in 2004. Interesting facts about Jack Russell Stadium. Jack Russell Stadium was the site where the first organist was ejected from a baseball game for playing Three Blind Mice as a response to a call by the umpires. The organist, Wilbur Snap, was ejected from the game on June 25, 1985 during a Clearwater Phillies game against the Osceola Astros. Another interesting fact was the Rolling Stones played this stadium, Jack Russell Stadium, on May 6, 1965 during their 22-show American tour. It was their third tour of the United States. On that night, Keith Richards found the guitar riff for the song I Can't Get No Satisfaction. He briefly woke up in his room at the Fort Harrison Hotel here in Clearwater, recorded the riff and the phrase I can't get no satisfaction, and went to sleep. The final interesting fact about Jack Russell Stadium is that the boy band NSYNC played here in 1996. The most interesting fact is Justin Timberlake of NSYNC happens to be the nephew of John Timberlake, the general manager of the Clearwater Threshers. This is Bright House Field. Formerly known as Bright House Networks Field from 2004 to 2013, it's been known as Bright House Field from 2013 to 2017, and as of this year will be known as Spectrum Field. It is located at 601 Old Coachman Road in Clearwater, Florida. This is the dedication plaque for Bright House Field, dedicated February 27, 2004. This is Bright House Field. It's the third home of the Phillies Spring Training Facility. Ground was broke in October of 2002 and opened on February 27, 2004. It had a construction cost of $28 million. The statue in front of the stadium here on the West Plaza is known as the Ace and was created by Kevin Brady. The first game held at Bright House Field, which was then known as Bright House Networks Field, was on March 4th, 2014 and was witnessed by 8,200 fans. The Phillies beat the New York Yankees 5-1. Vicente Padilla started for the Phillies. Marlon Byrd had the first hit in the park, and the first home run was scored by no other than Jimmy Rollins. The first game held at Bright House Field, which was known at the time as Bright House Networks Field, was on March 4th, 2014. The Phillies were playing the New York Yankees. The game was witnessed by 8,200 fans. Vicente Padilla was the starter for the Phillies. The first hit was scored by Marlon Byrd, and the first home run by Jimmy Rollins. This is the interior of Bright House Field, soon to be known as Spectrum Field. It has a seating capacity of 8,500 seats. That includes 7,000 fixed seats and 1,500 seats in the berm. Left field is 729 feet, left center 389, center field 408, and right field 330.